Hello, good evening, and welcome to Off Track Small Talk. Tonight is all about the new grading list. So the first grading period ended last weekend at Northampton, and it's fantastic that we're going to have a driver who's made superstar status for the first time. That individual is 463 James Morris. Evening, James. You all right?
Evening, Jonathan. How are we?
We're good. I'm really impressed at how smart you're looking this evening. Nobody's come to these interviews looking as smart as you. You've set a precedent now. I like it.
Well, I've set a standard now for everyone else to follow, Anna. So
Yeah, it's good. It's good. So this is probably going to be the daftest question I've ever asked on these interviews. But let's just go with it a minute. Are you super happy with your achievements to make superstar grade?
yeah, I am really. Yeah, we didn't start out the season aiming for anything, but after a few meetings, it became obvious we were in the mix. So we were trying as hard as we could because it was sort of the way it fell with 7 shale meetings. You probably never have the chance again because there'll be more time at meetings. So we were trying our hardest, and fortunately, we managed to fall over the line at the end.
Yeah. So I spoke to you at the Kingsley meeting, and I was like, James, do you want to have a chat with me? Because you're doing really well this year. And you're like, no, I don't want to jinx it. And then, so if we tried at Northampton, you're like, no. But you know, it's like, were you nervous? Were you getting a bit nervous? Like, oh, this could happen.
Well, I never even thought about it, but up just before the Kingsley meeting, it became obvious that there was a chance. And like you say, it was you probably only had one chance you're going to get to do it. So I was a bit nervous before Kingsley. And then Bobby was closing on me a bit. And then going into last weekend, I was a bit nervous, being honest. But we just, like I said, we managed to fall over the line, so it was good.
Yeah. So in terms of like knowing where people are in the points, was Nigel Anderson giving you like text updates, or were you working out yourself? How are you figuring it out?
No, people kept sending. I was trying to ignore it, but people kept sending me stuff. And then except at Milldale, did all right in the heat, and then I mucked the final up right at the end, and I knew it was getting closer and closer. But then at Northampton, we had a pretty good day, and like I say, we got there.
Yeah, a very good day at Northampton. We'll come to that in a minute. So when I guess think of James Morris, I kind of go Racious Shale. Strong blue top, sometimes red, which is absolutely an achievement in itself. But this year it's very different. We've got the grading list, you've got Matt, Tom, and then yourself. So what's different? It's like your performance have been elevated this year. So what's changed?
Well, being honest, it's all down to Paul Harrison. But that's what I tell him anyway. Well, these cars are Matt's are so good. And when I got this car, I thought we probably progress a bit further, but like he's not. I've never really got the best out of the car at all. But last year I was winning a few races here and there, and I was trying and I was enjoying it. So you just think that's as good as it's getting really. But I knew I hadn't really got the best out of the car. I knew there was more in it. And then the last Sheffield last year, Paul won the final and I was second, and he come by me about 4th or 5th lap. I thought I'll just try and stay with him because I knew the shooters were behind him. I thought they're going to be on us soon, so I was trying to stay with Paul. And just in a few laps, I was following him. I found something. I found a bit of rhythm, and I felt better in the car. So I found something. I couldn't tell you what it was, but since then the results have been a lot better. So
it's basically all down to Paul Harrison. That's what it is.
That's what I told him on Sunday, and he was pretty pleased with that. So.
Good, and you've given recognition on this, which is fantastic. You started talking about following Paul, and I spoke to Sophie in the week and said, I suppose James will do a video interview. And I said, how did he go to Northampton? Obviously second in the final behind Matt. But she said, her observation was your driving was full of confidence at Northampton. Do you think you have become more confident this year as you've been getting those good results, and it sort of confidence breeds confidence, if you like?
Yeah, well, it's such a lot. Like last year was, like I say, I won a race here and there, but when you look over the season, it was pretty average, really. But I was still, like I say, I was enjoying it. But then, like Sheffield, just got a little bit of confidence, got a little bit of rhythm, best have felt in the car, and then the results have been a lot better since then. And we've not changed anything, so
it is what it is.
Yeah.
So to give people a bit of context, you've been racing Formula One for quite a while. You started in 2008, first meeting at Buxton, first win was at Birmingham the same year. So when you started, did you solely focus on tarmac?
No. So I've watched Formula Ones all my life. I always fancied having a go, but it's just getting yourself in a position to have a go. I bought a car off a chap called Dave McMahon. It was a pretty new Frank car.
Yeah.
It was a tarmac car, but we bought it with the intention of doing both services. Like the plan at the start really was to do Birmingham and Buxton and Bellevue and Coventry really. But this sport takes you in a completely different direction sometimes, doesn't it? So we've ended up just doing shale really over the last few years.
Yeah. So when you did, because like a final win came at Bellevue in 2010. So were you using one car for both circuses in those sort of first few years? Yeah.
It was. We really only did. We only really went to Birmingham. I really enjoyed Birmingham. I was now when I raced at the other tracks. I didn't really enjoy them. So it was more shale based. But we used to go to Birmingham. I used to enjoy it there, and I got some half decent results. But never really anywhere else. But it was all one car. I only ever had the one car until the same car until I come to Matt.
Yeah. Because I was looking at some pictures, and obviously I recognise being the David McMahon. It's green, wasn't it? Do you know what I mean? It was quite a memorable car in that respect. And then looking at a few later, and I'm going, is that the same car? Obviously different colour schemes. I'm sure it looks the same, but I wasn't overly sure.
Yeah, it was the same car, but I wrecked it on numerous occasions. I don't think there was anything. There was probably a bit of the chassis rail that was the original. We had new cage on it. I used to wreck it all the time, which was what you do when you're learning, isn't it? And we used to get loads of damage and just fix it, and it's all good fun.
So talking about wrecking it, and which I think you did a little bit, was I remember the Skegness semi-final in 2011, and it was you got quite a bit of damage in that one, a big incident that.
Yeah, it was a big one. Yeah. The funny thing was we'd gone, like I say, I only played at tarmac really, but we'd gone because we got the semi-final at Skegness. We'd gone practicing at Birmingham, and we thought we found a bit. And you go there with full of confidence. You go out in practice at Skegness, and we were nowhere near. So we're out in the semi, trying as hard as I can. And to this day, I don't really know what happened. We just got piled in down at the bottom, and it was a big one, and it just wrecked everything. The car, the chassis were twisted, front and back axles were bent, gearbox, bell housing, prop shaft. It even damaged the engine. So even the weeks after, just everything was. So we didn't race again until 2012. It was a bit of a mammoth task to get back. Yeah.
Because I was at the top of the seaside bend, as they call it, and I can remember everybody going in and you just being up, and I'm like, you don't even know. I couldn't tell you what happened. I just remember you being kind of up and not good.
Yeah, no, to this day, I don't know what it was pushing or anything, but I just know I ended up with a load of damage at the end of it. So it was a big hit. I was hobbling around for a couple of weeks, but we were okay.
Was it at that point you were like, right, I'm not doing tarmac anymore. I'm sacking this off as a bad job?
Not really. There was never a plan. It seemed for the next season, like because Stoke was coming back for 2012, and I had Bellevue, Coventry, Stoke, and I thought because we didn't go to Kings Lynn a lot in them days, and I thought rather than messing around, we'll just commit to doing the shell meetings. There was never a plan. I always thought we'd end up back racing at Birmingham, but we just never got round to it.
And I suppose like when we've spoken to I think Danny Wayman as one in particular, when he's kind of gone, dual surface car, we can do it. It's just a lot of work to get it from shell to tarmac and then to get it right once you've got it on tarmac. So I suppose it is just the ease, isn't it? Actually, I can just race shell with it, and it's less workload at the time.
It was, and like I say, I always preferred shell anyway. And we that year 2009, we weren't messing around with it from one surface to the other, and it didn't really work, being honest. So we just there's never been a grand plan. So just the year after, we said just do shale for a bit and do shale full time. Yeah.
Okay. So if we come up to the here and now, I think it's very well known that you utilise the services of Matt Newsom. So he's got your car, or you use his car. So how did that come about?
Well, so the car is Matt's, everything's Matt's. I just hired it off him. But going back to the last season that I run on my own, in 2015. Had a really, really poor year. There's a couple of things at the end of the season come up. We had a really poor year. Obviously, I always have my car and lads that help me, and I appreciate everything that they did for me, the lads. But in 2015, the team sort of broke down, being honest with you.
Okay.
So I couldn't really go into the next season like that. And another thing that pops up is the company that I work for. I've got a lot of work up in Cumbria and around the Morecambe Bay area. So I knew there was the potential to be away quite a lot with work, and it was 7 days.
Yeah.
So going into 2016, it was the last year of Coventry, and I didn't want to be messing around. So at the end of 15, I spoke to Matt about potentially running my car for the year. So we were doing that. Didn't know how it'd work out. But for the first few meetings, it's a bit strange turning up. Your car's there, and you're not working on your car. It's a bit odd. But after a few meetings, I started really enjoying it, and I was away with work, so I was just coming back to race, and I started to really enjoy it. We got red for the first time. The first month I was with Matt, and then a couple of months into the season, Matt said, "Well, going forward, for the next season, potentially sell your car, and I'll sort your car out." And we're still here, so we just keep going.
So, I think you're one of the first people potentially to do almost like arrive and drive, and it's become a bit more common, hasn't it, as we've kind of gone on with people that actually, I'm too busy, I can't devote the time in the week to get the car there at the weekend. So actually, I'll use somebody else to do that for me. And when you're sort of doing that, is it like easier for you to kind of just go, right, I'm going racing and that's it? Do you know what I mean? I ain't going to worry about anything else.
It's whatever situation you find yourself in. Like I've run my own car for years, and I always enjoyed working on the car. But it's just I was working away a lot at that time, and then for a few years I've not done. And then, funny enough, for the last 18 months I've been working away a lot. So, like even at the start of the season, I've been working in Barroway Furnace, and I've just coming back on a Saturday morning and racing. So you just race to your situation, and that's the way it is, really.
So to be fair as well, I assumed it was your car that Matt just, do you know what I mean, that Matt ran. I didn't appreciate it was Matt's car that you just had. It's obviously it's in your colours and it looks like yours, doesn't it? So
no, when I first went with Matt, I used my own car for the first year, and then I used his car, the yellow car that he first built in 2013. I had a season in that, and then I used Scott's old car. I really got on with Scott's old car. And then Matt said he'd build this one. He was good enough to build it. So we've had this one for a few years now, and like I say, it took me a bit of time to get the best out of it. Yeah,
but here we are at Superstar. Just talking about Matt, I guess the final point. I think people potentially maybe underestimate sort of the impact that Matt has on the sport in a real positive way. There's numerous drivers that are racing today because of his input, which is fantastic. I think maybe it goes a bit unnoticed at times.
It does. And I'd tried to keep on racing, but I don't know if I would have still been racing now without that. And there's so many people in the same boat who have been introduced into the sport. So it's all good. Like you say, it's probably underappreciated.
Yeah, I think so. Right, so 20th of May, Kings Lynn. You'll be there with Superstar Lights for the first time. In some respects, when I've spoken to drivers, they've said it's almost easier going from the back because you've got less traffic, and blue grade is often considered the worst grade to race from. Are you looking forward to it? And do you think because you started from red before, so you've kind of got a bit of an idea. Do you think you'll find it a bit easier, or actually I've got to pass every other car now to win? I don't know. What's your thoughts?
I don't know, because when Tom and Craig and Matt come past me, it seems to be going pretty quick. So I don't know if it's going to be easy or not. So I'll just be trying to hang on to them, see where we go.
So, like for the rest of the season, are you setting yourself any targets? I mean, you said right at the very beginning, look, I've come into this year with no targets, aspirations. It's just kind of happened. So now we're here. Are you kind of going actually, or is it just?
No, I haven't got this. I just do 1 meeting at a time. That's it. I don't look any further than that.
Yeah.
We'll go to Kings Lynn, and that's it.
That's a good way of looking at it, though.
I suppose it is. I listen to all these people, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do that, and we'll just worry about Kings Lynn, and then if we survive that, we'll worry about Bradford the week after.
Yeah, so but you do all the shell, pretty much every shell meeting. I don't think you've missed. You very rarely miss a shell meeting. Is that the sort of the aim to do every shell meeting for the rest of the year?
Yeah, we just say one at a time. But you know, if you know, all being well, we'll be there. But it is one at a time.
Yeah. One last question. When I do these interviews and I see like sort of people at stock car tracks and they go, you never ask them what they do for a job. We always want to know what they do for a job. And you've mentioned work. So what do you do that pays for all of this?
I'm a plumber, but I'm not self-employed. I just work for a company, but we do a lot of work on schools and hospitals and industrial projects. So yeah, we tend to get a lot of work up in Cumbria, Morecambe Bay area, hospitals, and at BAE where they build the nuclear submarines up there. They're expanding the workforce, so we do a lot of work up there. So yeah, it's all good.
Good. So you like work? So you work near nuclear submarines? You must know Dave Crosby.
Well, I know Dave only through Stockhouse, but I've never seen he's based quite a lot of the time at Barra, but he took the submarine out a few months ago. But I've never seen the submarine go out into the sea. No, they took it out, but we weren't there at the time, which was a bit. Would have been nice to have seen it.
Yeah, good. And you'll like the fact that I've recognised it does submarines because I always say I'm sure he don't but anyway he does. James, it's been absolutely fantastic to talk to you tonight. Thank you for giving up your evening. Anything you'd like to add before we leave you to the rest of your night?
No, just thank everyone that helps us. Gareth that helps me. He's a massive. He does so much for me, Gareth, and everyone with Matt Newson Racing. They've been brilliant, and hopefully we'll just keep going. Yeah, good. James, thank you very much. Good luck in a couple of weeks when you go from Superstar. Fingers crossed you get some good results, and well done for getting those flashing lights on your car. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.